Hey everybody, today I'm making a video just to say I called it. A few videos ago I said that I felt like there was going to be this political vacuum when I would go to the county assembly for the Democratic Party, and on the very same day there was the March for Our Lives, which a lot of potential delegates to that county assembly decided to opt out of the assembly for, because they wanted to be a part of that movement, that march where all of these people would show up, right? And there were even, when I went to the march after the assembly, with plenty of time to get there, by the way, there were even people registering people to vote at that march, at the rally. It was beautiful, right? Problem is, they left a political vacuum in not going to the county assemblies for the Democratic Party here in Colorado. And instead of being a part of the political process, they were a part of the show, right? The big show where they got their pictures taken with thousands of people behind them. They got to take their selfies and show that they were involved. But guess what? The people that care about gun control did not show up at the county assemblies. And just as I predicted, not many people would realize what happened when those people didn't show up to the county assemblies as delegates. So right now I've got about 40 views on a video I posted yesterday, which was the entirety of the Adams County Democratic Party Assembly. All right? The whole thing. Anytime that there was a recess, I turned my camera off, and when things came back into play, I turned the camera back on at the end of every recess. So every second that the assembly was in session, I put out on video, right? The whole damn thing. And one thing I've learned from going to all these assemblies is record every fucking thing and stay longer than anyone else until the very fucking end, right? So, the timestamp I'm going to give you in a link below is 2 hours and 8 minutes into the video, right? But that's actually elapsed time probably 4 hours into this thing, right? Towards the end of the assembly, right, there was only about an hour left of in-session moments after that. But 2 hours, 8 minutes into it, someone decides to challenge some of the platform planks that were being ratified by the assembly, right? So each county has an opportunity to put forth to the state party platform planks that they want to be enacted into the party's platform, because they want to stand for this, right? This is where legislators get their onus for, trying to represent the party that they work for and their constituents by working towards making laws in the vein of these platform planks. This is basically the wish list of the fucking party. What we want done, right? So, after everyone decided, I really want to go to both things, but this is kind of a stretch, right? Can I go to one and then the other? I don't know. I only have so much energy in the day, So a lot of people decided they weren't going to be delegates. And then you can see in the entirety of the video that there were a lot of people who showed up to the beginning. A lot of people participated in the voting for the straw polls for governor. They voted for the people that they got ballots for. The ballots were on the back of our credentials. I won't show you the whole credential because it kind of doxes me, but it was just a piece of paper with other pieces of paper stapled on the back. You only got one set per credential, and you could turn in your ballots, right? But at the end, after that, see, a lot of people had left when they voted. They're like, well, I signed the roster, which means I can go to the Congressional Assembly, I can go to the State Assembly, right? Because they're not checking anything else. I can leave and get to the March for Our Lives early, right? So you can see in my video, more and more seats get emptied as people duck out, especially with the recesses. People were ducking out, jumping in their cars, and headed down to the March for Our Lives to show on their Facebook selfies that they care about gun control. And while they were gone, a gun control measure that many of the Parkland shooting students, the students who went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, whatever you call it, right? They've been calling for on national television this as something that needs to be done, which is metal detectors in high schools, right? So I'm leaving you the link in the description box to the exact timestamp of what happened in the assembly. A teacher at a high school says, I don't want my high school turning into... She was holding the microphone. Look, I've got all these microphones, so I'm going to use this selfie stick to be a microphone. She was like, I don't want my high school to be like a prison. Right? And so she makes this plea, and she gets the rules to be suspended for a second while they vote on amending all of the resolutions that they want to pass on to the state party. So the vote happens, and by acclamation, meaning, by just by our ears of who was louder than the other, they determined that over 75% of the people left at the assembly did not want metal detectors in high schools. Even though, there's this huge movement about, gun control measures and keeping our kids safe, the students from Parkland High School getting on all sorts of news stations, listing off things that they think need to be done, need to be paid for by our government in order to make them safer. And one of them was metal detectors in high schools to keep students safe from guns. This assembly decided, you know what? We're going to remove that because the people who care about that thing, they're not here anymore. And one concerned high school teacher said, I don't want my high school turning into a prison. And poof, they all voted to remove it from their platform going forward, right? So in the stuff that they're putting forth to the state legislature, there's going to be an amended thing saying, no, we've changed our mind. We don't want metal detectors in high school. Even though most of the people who went to the march were probably seeing a lot of posters and a lot of signs, protest signs on sticks saying we want metal detectors in school, not whatever other thing that Republicans like to spend money on. That the comparisons are all over those signs, and I filmed over an hour of it walking around through that giant rally, and you can see all of those signs. You can see what they want, right? And what happened at that assembly is not what those people who probably vote in the same party would have wanted done. But unfortunately, many people decided to check out of the actual political process and go get their selfie taken for Facebook with a bunch of other people. There's a reason why you have to stay late. You have to watch the entire thing when we're caucusing, okay? There's a reason why you have to pay attention and be vigilant and not get distracted by, ooh, look, a shiny, ooh, look, this is going to be just as big as that women's march, Fuck all that. Don't hate the player, hate the game. and play the rules of the game. Okay? You have to show up when it's most important. And unfortunately, I saw a whole bunch of people ditch their responsibilities to their community that they said that they would represent. They elected to be delegates. You know, they decided, I will be a delegate, I'll take the spot. And in some of the precincts where there was enough people to challenge each other, they were actually elected by their peers to go forth and represent them at the county assembly. And they decided, nah, not as important as my selfie. When the cat's away, the mice will play. And when all the people who care about gun control aren't there, only the people who don't care about gun control are going to vote on these measures.